Hi guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of the Dark Circus slash Dark Carnival. We ended our live completing our 5 signatures. We have not sewn them in the book, so we are picking up where we left off. That we got our 5 signatures together, and we're going to continue the video. Thank you guys for being patient. I appreciate it. Let me get comfortable here. Okay, so we got our 5 signatures finished, and we are going to put these to the side. And what we are going to need next is we're going to need our template, which came in our cover book. So it has the circles on the one side of the paper, and on the other side is our template for our 5 signatures and the template for where our signatures get the holes punched to make sure that they match up with the dots that are on here. So we're going to go ahead and cut this out. Okay, and now I'm going to cut out, this is for our signatures, so that it's a template for the signatures, so we know exactly where we're punching our holes. We're going to go ahead and cut that out as well. Okay. All right, so what we want to do is we want to fold this piece. We want to fold it along the dotted line. So what I am going to do is I am going to get my machine here, and I'm going to go ahead and, oops. There we go. And I'm going to fold that. And then I'm going to take my awl, and I am going to go ahead and punch my holes for my signatures. And then I am going to take this piece, and again, I am going to crease here along these lines. Where is my bone folder? Oops, I'm crooked. There we go. Okay, there's one. Yep, I'm crooked. is my other side. Okay, so I'm going to bend those flaps up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my awl and I am going to punch the holes out for my signatures. Okay. So as you can see, my holes for all 5 signatures on the other side. Now I'm going to go ahead and you can zhuzh up your edges. And I'm going to bend mine here the other way. And I'm going to zhuzh up this. And then the other side. Again, fold the other flap, and I am going to zhuzh up that side as well. Okay. So there I have everything zhuzhed up, and now I am going to, let me move this match. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my signatures, and let me move this stuff out of the way. I got my folded piece. I got my awls. And I need my black thread. Okay, so I got my needles. I got my awl. I have 2 awls. I like having 2 because it helps keep the pages together. And then I have my 5 signatures. So what I do is my first signature is going to be, sorry about that, somebody's car horn is going off. This I'm going to use as my first signature, and I already see that I need to make sure that my signatures aren't taller than my book cover. I'm going to take my back cover. I'm going to lay my signatures on there, and I see that I have enough room. Mine is tall enough so that it's not going to stick out the sides of the book. So I am good with this signature. So I do know that because of where this sits, okay, and where this sits, I know that I need to move these pieces so that they are caught with that single hole. So what I need to do is I need to move these pages up higher. So that my little tiny piece of paper is caught by at least one of those holes. Okay, so you can use any size piece of paper. This was a scrap that I had left over from when I was tearing papers, and I decided I wanted to use it because I like the color. But I need to make sure that I am catching it with that hole in the stencil, so that I know where it is that I'm supposed to catch. So it doesn't get left out, so that when I go to put this down, I know that I'm still going to be in the middle. Okay. So I am going to take my template. I'm going to open my signatures up, and I'm going to take this template. I'm going to find the center of my signature, which is right here. And I'm going to lay that in the middle. Get that in the middle. I'm going to make sure by eyeballing it, if I'm going to catch it, I need to raise it up just a little bit more. Okay, I want to make sure that I am in the middle. Sorry guys, what I'm doing is I am making sure that I am in the middle here. Need to go up a little bit higher. Okay. Make sure that my book pages are the right height. And then let me stand up so I can actually see where my hole is on this side compared to the other side. So I know that I need to drop this template down a little bit. Right about there. Okay. So I'm going to then take my awl, and I'm going to find the center hole in my template. Okay, I'm going to lay my awl down flat, bend my pages over, and then I'm going to push through. And as you can see, I'll zoom in here for you. Oops. Hold on. My awl is matching up with my hole. Can you see that? That my awl is matching up with my hole. Okay, so that I know that my hole is right. So, and I cut that piece of paper. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the next hole, but I am going to actually leave my awl in there. I have going to use my second awl. I'm going to open this up to the middle to where my template is, find that last bottom hole, bend my papers over, puncture my hole through, and then I'm going to go to the top one, make sure it's in that corner, bend my papers over, lay my awl flat, and punch through. Okay. Now I have my needle, and then now I need my thread. So 1, 2.5 times longer than your signature. Cut my thread. I'm going to go ahead and thread my needle. I'm going to pull my template out. I'm going to go from this piece. And again, this is going to be my first signature, so I'm going to put it in my first hole. Okay? And then I'm going to put it through that hole. If it pushes in very easily, more likely you are into your center, which is, there's my needle. So I'm going to pull this out. And again, this is my template. I'm doing my first signature. I'm going to leave it loose so I can see where I'm at. I'm going to go into my top hole, lay my pages flat, come out with my needle. I'm going to pull it all the way out. Okay. And then I'm going to go into that first hole for my first signature. See where that one comes out, and I'm coming out up here. I'm going to pull that. I'm going to go to the very bottom hole, and I'm going to stick that in the bottom hole. First one, come out. And then I'm going to take my needle. I'm going to go into that bottom hole. I'm going to push in. Okay, I did not catch all of my pages, but that is okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull it. I'm going to go back into that bottom hole. I'm going to catch the rest of these pages. Oops. Now I should be in my center, which I am, okay? Because my pages are altered, so they're not all the same height, which is fine. So I'm going to go to my center page. Okay. And then I'm going to go into that center hole again and try not to catch the thread that is already coming through that hole. And then go back through that first hole in the middle. Oops, I caught my thread there. And I'm going to come out. So there is my signature. So I want to make sure that there is a tail on each side of the string. Okay, so I'm going to take my strings, my tails, I'm going to pull in the opposite directions until my string is tight. And then what I'll do is I will flip this over to make sure that my two strings are tight. If they're not, then go ahead. I see that my thread went through my thread, so I'm going to pull it out. There we go. And then pull again. And again, I'm going to make sure that I have a tail on each side of my string. Pull that again. And now I'm going to go ahead and do a double knot. 1, pull tight. 2, pull tight. Okay. Then I can go ahead and trim my strings. Throw this away. And then I'm going to take my glue, just so that my knot doesn't slip. And I am going to put a little dab of glue on my knot. Tap it, tap it, tap it to work it into that knot. And that is our first signature. Okay, so I caught that page. Okay, nothing is loose. All right, so I can go ahead and move on to the second signature. So now that I know that this is my maximum height here and here, because I did my first signature spread out so that it matched the size of your book. So that you can see I'm not any taller than the top part of my book, and I'm not below the bottom part of my book. This is the cover, or I should say the back cover. So I'm not taller or longer. So I know that I'm okay. So I know when I lay my next signature down, this is the max height and that I can use. Okay, so I can take this and set this to the side. All right, so my next signature, okay, I'm going to take this, and I see that I'm already too high and too low. So what I need to do is I either need to trim off or tear the top part so that it's not longer. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I can zhuzh it up afterwards. I need to make sure that I'm not too high. And there we go. That's perfect. So what I need to do is then open up to my center. Okay. I'm going to take my template, and again, I'm going to put it in the center. I'm going to look to see if there's any pages that I might not catch, if anything's too short, and actually everything is good. So what I need to do is I need to stand up, look overhead to make sure that my holes are close to matching this, because I know that this is my max height here and here. So I have my template into that corner. I'm going to again take my awl, stick it down on my paper, put it in the hole. I'm going to bend my papers towards me, and then I'm going to go ahead and push my awl through. As you can see, my needle came out the same height as my hole. Hold on. Can you see it there? Okay, so I'm going to leave my awl in there, and I am going to go to the next hole. And since I already know that that one is correct, this one is going to line up correctly so that I can put my awl in that hole, lay my awl flat, bend my papers over, and then push through. And there's my awl there. And then I'm going to take my awl out, go to the top hole, lay it flat against the paper, bend my papers over, push through, and there is my third hole. So let me zoom out. So again, 2.5 times. So 1, 2.5. I cut my thread. I'm going to take my needle. I'm going to thread my needle. Okay. Now, since I'm doing my second signature, I'm going to flip this over. And this is my first signature. That hole is my second signature. So I'm going to stick my needle into that hole, into the center, flip it over. There's my needle. Okay, I'm going to leave my tail long enough so that it's loose and I have enough room. I'm going to find my hole in the center and I'm just going to line it up. And I'm not going to force it, because if you force it, you're going to puncture a new hole. There we go. Now I'm in the center. So what I can do is I can remove the awl, remove the template before pulling the needle all the way through, and then pull the needle through. Come on, there we go. Okay, so there you can see my string, and I still have a tail. I don't want to pull it too tight that I don't have a tail anymore. I still need a tail. Okay, then I'm going to take my needle, I'm going to go into that bottom hole, bend my papers over, come out that hole, pull it, and then again I'm going to go into this bottom one because that's where I came out of, is the bottom. I'm going to go into this bottom. And when I flip this over, you can see I am coming out the bottom in this second row. I'm going to pull that. Then I'm going to go all the way to the top into this second hole. There's my needle. Oops. Okay. I'm going to rethread my needle. Okay, making sure I still got my tail. Hold on. There's my tail. Put that to the bottom so that I can see that it's still there and I didn't pull too hard. And then I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go into that top hole on this signature. And again, don't force it. Okay, coming out through the center. And then go again into the middle. Making sure that I don't catch that middle thread. And then go out that hole again. Here we go. Okay. Again, I want to make sure that my string has a tail on each side. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up. I'm going to double check to make sure that no string is loose here. No string is loose here. And nothing is hanging out back here. So I can go ahead and flip that back over. And my tail is on both sides. Tighten it up one more time. Tie it twice. Pull tight. Pull tight. Okay, trim up my strings. Add a little drop of glue onto that knot so the knot doesn't slip. Dab it a couple times, work it into that knot. And that is our second signature. So this is our first signature, and this is our second signature. Again, making sure your pictures are upright. Pictures are upright. So everything is upright and like it's supposed to be. Okay, let me zoom out. So that is our second signature. Okay. Now we are going to do our third signature. And as you can see, to make sure that we got the right number, there are 3 holes left here, 3 holes left here, and 3 holes left here. And we still have 3 signatures left. So this is, let me see which one I want. This one is going to be my third signature. Nope, actually, this is going to be my third signature. Okay, so what I need to do is I am going to unclasp this. I'm going to make sure that I'm not too high, but I am too low here. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I need to take a little bit off the top. Or move my papers. Okay, so I can take from the bottom. So I'm measuring my height again, making sure I'm not above there, but I know that I have to take off from down here to make sure that I'm not too long. So I'm going to go ahead and take off some length here. Okay. Okay, measure my height. All right, I am good. So what I'm going to do, since I'm not taller, I'm not longer, I'm going to open, I'm going to stand up, make sure that we're good. We are good. I am going to open my center. I'm going to take my template again. Now I have a very short piece of paper here, so I want to make sure that my template is going to catch that piece of paper. So I need to look at my holes from my template to my holes on the paper. Make sure my everything is in the crease. Okay. So I'm going to take my awl and I am going to lay it flat, put it into the center hole, and then I'm going to push it through. And there it is. I am lined up with that hole. Then I'm going to take in the awl, again, lay it flat, put in that hole, push through. Okay. Go to the other hole. And I already know that this is going to line up because my other holes line up. Okay. And then I'm going to take my thread 2.5 times the length. 1, 2.5. Cut my string. Thread my needle. And now we can work from the back side. So I'm going to take my signature. I'm going to come into that center hole, center, come out. I'm going to leave a tail so that I can know that I have my string long enough. I'm going to remove my awl. I'm going to put my needle in that center hole. Should go in very easily. Now I can remove my template. Okay, I still have my tail. Put in the bottom hole. Go into that bottom hole right there, that next one that's open. Come out the back side. I'm going to take my needle, go into that top hole, the middle one, making sure that I'm not catching anything. And it come out the top in that center top hole. Open up to my center. There's my needle. Go ahead and pull that through. Then I'm going to making sure I still have a tail down here so I didn't pull it too tight. Go back into that center hole. Try not to catch the thread coming out the back side. Okay, going back into that center hole. And coming out the back. Okay. I want my tail to be on either side of that string. I'm going to pull taut, opposite directions. I'm going to check to make sure that there's no loose string here. There is no loose string in the middle, and there's no loose string in the back. So I'm going to go give it one more tug. Now I'm going to tie it twice. Pull. Second time. Pull. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut my strings. And I am going to take my glue again. I'll put a little dot of glue on the knot. Rub it into that knot so the knot doesn't slip. There we go. All right, there's our 3 signatures, and then we just got to do the other 2. So again, this will be my next signature, and again, everything is going in the same direction. Same direction, same direction. Okay, so I'm going to go into that 4th hole. There are 2 holes left. 2 at the top, 1, 2, 2 in the middle, and 2 on the bottom. So I'm going to take my next signature, make sure that I'm not too tall or too short. I'm too tall, so I'm going to line up the bottom, and I'm going to take from the top. So I know that this needs to come down. Okay. And again, I can zhuzh that up later. It doesn't have to be right now. Okay, let me pinch these together so I don't get that caught in the other signature. All right, So we have our 2 holes. We're going to go to the inside of those 2 holes to do our next signature, which is our 4th. I am going to line that up. I am going to take my template. I'm going to go to my center, which is my lion. I'm going to place that down. I'm going to look to see where my hole is here and where my template lines up, and I know that I need to go up higher. Okay, I need to come down just a little bit more. There we go. So I'm going to make sure that template is shoved into the corner. Take my awl, lay it down, put it into that hole a little bit, bend my papers over, push, and there I am on that hole. And then I take my awl, go into the top, lay it down, bend my papers over, push through, come down to the bottom, into that bottom hole, and I'm going to bend my papers over and push through. Okay. And then 2.5 times the length of your signature. 1, 2.5. Okay. And then get my needle, thread my needle. And then what I'm going to do is on the back side, we know that we're using the inside one, not the outside, the inside. So we're going to go into the middle. Make sure I have my tail sticking out. Okay. Grab my signature, go to that middle hole, slightly push through, and it should bring you to your middle. Okay, then I can remove my awl. My needle in, oops, I need to take this out of the template. I'm going to go into that bottom hole, come out, into that hole, go to the back. I'm going to go all the way up to the top, into that top hole, push through. Oops, I didn't catch all my signatures. Still not. There, I think we got them now. Nope, I didn't. That's okay. You don't want to force it because you don't want to puncture new holes. So I got, there it is. Pull that through. And I'm going to go into that center hole. Try not to catch the thread that's already coming through, and I know I already have because I can feel it, and that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my thread off my needle. I can see that I punctured the thread right here, and I'm just going to pull it out. Come on, there we go. There we go. Rethread my needle. Okay. Go into that center hole. separate these. There we go. Take my thread off. Again, making sure that my thread is on, I have a tail on each side of my thread. Pull in the opposite directions, pull it nice and taut. I have no loose threads here. No loose threads here. And no loose threads here. So I know that that's good. I can go ahead and give it one more snug tug. And then tie once, pull taut, tie it a second time, pull it tight. And now I can cut my strings. Take my glue. Again, put the dab on the knot. Dab, 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 rub it into the knot. And there is my fourth signature. Okay. Now we have one more signature to go. Okay. I'm going to make sure that this isn't too tall. Okay, I got a little bit hanging off here. So I am going to take this off the bottom. Okay. Stand up. I got the right height. I have a very short piece of paper, so I want to make sure that paper is up high enough. It is not. I want to catch that with my center. So I'm going to eyeball it, and I think that's good. Perfect. So I'm going to open up to my middle. I am going to put my template in there, push everything in, make sure it's all lined up. Now I'm going to look at my last hole to see where I need to move the template, make sure that I got it right, and make sure I catch that small piece of paper, which I will. And then I'm going to take my awl, again, lay it flat, push through that hole a little bit, then my paper's over, and then push till you pierce. Okay, take my awl, put it in that bottom hole, lay my awl flat against the paper, against the table, bend my papers towards the awl, push through, go to the top, find that hole, lay it flat against the table, bend my papers in, and then push through. Okay, so I am going to put this in the bottom to hold my place while I get my thread. So 1, 2.5. Get my needle, my thread. Okay. Again, everything is right side up. I'm going to go into that last hole into the center. And I am going to make sure that my thread doesn't move this time because we are on the last one. And I'm going to binder clip that over so it doesn't pull all the way through. And I'm going to take my signature. I'm going to go into that center hole. Come out the center. I'm going to remove my template. There we go. I'm going to go into that bottom hole. Into the bottom hole. Okay, all the way up to that top hole. Into that top hole. Okay, back into my center hole. And into the center hole, making sure not to catch the thread. Oops. Okay. Put my needle away, unpin it. I'm going to open my signatures. Again, I want to make sure I have a tail on each side of that thread. Pull in opposite directions until everything's nice and taut. Make sure I have no loose threads here. No loose threads in the middle. And no loose threads in the front. So I can go ahead and tie that off. So again, 1, pull tight, 2, tight, trim my threads, take a dab of glue, there we go, go over that notch, rub it in. Okay, so there's all 5 of our signatures, and everything is pretty even on the bottom, and everything is pretty even on the top. Okay, all right, now what we will need is, let me zoom out for you guys so you can see. Clear this off. Oops. Okay. We have our back cover. Okay. And then we have our front cover. Okay. So there's my front cover. And there's my back cover. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to glue that back tab to my back cover first. So I'm going to lay my back cover down, lay my spine up. I am going to make sure that before I glue, I'm going to make sure that crease is on that spine, okay, on that end of this backboard. And this, okay, everything is even. I'm even here. I am short here, so let me adjust a little bit. So where I'll zoom in so you guys can see. So you can see here, I'm coming all the way down, so that they are on the line, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna apply glue to this. Let me zoom out. Okay. I'm going to stand my book up. Again, making sure that I am even at the top and even on the bottom, and that my lines match up. Okay, wipe off any excess glue. Okay, close that flap, make sure everything's nice and even. Okay, this is all going to be covered up with material, so you're not even going to see it. Okay, make sure that's all connected. Wipe off any excess glue. Okay. Okay, so that is our back cover. Okay, fold it over. Make sure that everything lines up, nothing is too long. And hold on, let me fix you. And nothing is too tall. Okay. I could probably move this down just slightly. There we go. Slide it a little bit more. There we go. That's better. Again, making sure we are on that crease. Perfect. Now it's good. Now I'm even. Top and bottom's even. All right. Close this up. Now our cover. I remember that I forgot to trim this excess white off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. At this point, it really doesn't matter because it's getting covered, but I am being a little particular. Where's my utility knife? There it is. Okay, now I'm happy. Okay, now I can go ahead and zhuzh up that cover. Okay. Again, making sure we are even. Okay. Okay, I'm going to lay this on top. We know that we want to stay even on the top, even on the bottom. Yes, you're going to have a gap here, but you're not going to see that. I just want to make sure that my sides are matching. And then I'm on that crease. Okay. Wipe off that excess glue. Give it a second. I'm going to open it up. Make sure I'm on that crease. Oops. Get rid of that excess glue. Okay, put my cover back over. Make sure that I'm even on both sides. Okay. Get rid of that excess glue. So I see that I missed a piece here. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that white off. And then I'm going to zhuzh that up. There we go. All right. So there we have it. We are even here. We are even here. Okay. So now we're going to leave that dry, and I will be back with part 3. Mwah. Love you guys. See you in just a minute, and then we're going to do the cover or the top part.